Hello, friends. Happy Friday. So I was just scrambling. I got a message from my friend Michelle. So that thumbnail for today's stream has been up, since like last week, Sunday last week, I think. And I didn't notice, I really need a proofreader, that I had misspelled the word Alzheimer's. So I sent her the link for the stream this morning, I think. And so when she saw it, she sent me back a message to let me know that it was misspelled. So God bless her for that. I'm so embarrassed that was up for a whole week and I didn't realize that I had misspelled it. And of course, tons of text messages were coming in all at one time just before I was time to hit the go live button. Hello, David Hunt. Hello, Jesse and Lisa at Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa. How are you guys? Thanks for being here today. Anyway, so sorry I was a couple of minutes late getting started, but thank you all for being here. I'll bring Michelle up here in just a little bit. Yeah, old timers. That's what we used to call it, old timers disease. And I was an adult before I realized there was a condition really called Alzheimer's disease that I'm guessing that's what we were talking about back in the day. So I'm still learning. So don't take any points off for the misspelling on that original thumbnail. And I'm hoping it will update everywhere. Like I posted a link on Facebook, and so I'm hoping that will update. But let me get back to, oops. All right, let me get back to this. I want to post a poll right quick. So I have to do that on YouTube. Oops. I'm going to try to spell everything right. All right. So I just put a poll up. I'm hoping that will work. I don't think I can see it here at StreamYard. No, I actually had to go to YouTube to see it. And make sure I haven't missed anybody. Okay. So since today's video has a potential to be kind of heavy, and I don't want it to be heavy, I want to share something fun that I found watching videos this morning. So let me share. Let me share this video. I'm going to mute the sound just to prevent any copyright issues, because you'll be able to see what's going on even if you can't hear it. So let me share it. All right. Can y'all see that? Let me let this play. And just, so obviously there's words on the screen, but you'll see even with no words on the screen, you'd be able to see what's happening. So here we go. Oops. He's petting the fake Kurt. Kurt's not sure about it. This is what Kurt thinks about it. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so that I just thought that was really funny, and I tend to not have the camera out as much when the cats are doing interesting or funny things. But I'm like always with the dogs, and so I always have the camera out when the dogs are doing whatever they're doing. But I'm going to have to watch the cats more. There could be some fun content waiting for me if I would just plan things a little bit better. So for those of you who don't know, today we're going to be visiting with a friend of mine. I would say an old friend of mine, but I mean that in the sweetest way. I've known her a long, long time, and her mother recently passed away after battling Alzheimer's. And I've kind of decided I'm going to do, this will sort of be a theme. I have another friend that I think I'll bring on to talk about what I hope will turn into a series of discussions on invisible illnesses. Because I know people that suffer from a lot of different conditions that if you see them, you don't necessarily know, but these conditions can absolutely be debilitating and painful and crazy making. And she has shared a lot of her experiences with her condition, this other friend, on her Facebook page. I'm trying to get my lighting right, y'all. Just when I think I've got the lighting right, then something changes. But I also don't want to be blinded. Oh, turn this back on. Okay, let's see how long that'll last. It seems like it fades in and out. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'll figure it out one day. Anyway, so I think that's something I'm going to explore. I've got some emails out for some new content creators that I would love to have on the show to introduce to all of you and let you know about their channels. But I'm always at the mercy of whether or not someone responds to me. If you are watching this video, thanks to those that are in the chat live today, thanks to those that are watching as part of the rewatch crew after the stream ends. If you have a channel and you would like to be interviewed on the show so that I can introduce you and your channel content to my viewers, send me an email. Let me put up that email address. And let's chat and see if we can get you in front of some new people. So I'm always on the lookout for new channels. And I don't limit myself. I mean, a couple of the emails I sent today, one of the channels has 1.4 million subscribers. So the worst thing that can happen is nothing will happen. To me, that's the worst thing that can happen. I'll never hear from them, or they won't want to be on the show, and I'll just be where I was before I ever sent an email. So if you know of a channel, if there's a channel that you like and you would be interested in letting me or having me reach out to them to see if they might want to be on the show, then I'm happy to send an email. What does that hurt? So, anyway, so I'm going to put up a graphic right now, and let me message Michelle. Make sure she is headed this way. Hang on, I'm just sending her a message. Okay. Okay, so let me put this graphic up. I'm going to take myself off the screen. I don't know how else to, oh, yeah, I can show you this graphic another way, I guess. So let me do that. Let me find that. If I can find that. There it is, right there. All right, let's put this graphic up. Share my screen, because it just gives you an overview of Alzheimer's, how it starts, what to expect. And I'll check my poll here in just a minute. Let's put this up. All right. Let me take that banner off. Can y'all see that? Let's make this a little bigger. All right. So again, just some like a timeline. We'll talk with Michelle about the timeline and how it impacted her experience. Let's see if I can put myself up. Oops. Nope, I want this back up here. Oh, first, let me know in the chat. So when I take myself off the screen and only show the graphic like this, can you still hear me? So I'm talking right now. Let me know if you can still hear me. I think I'm doing it the right way now, because I used to do this another way, and then people would start typing in the chat. I can't hear you. Can y'all hear her? Anyway, so we'll talk with Michelle and see how it went with her experience. Her mom is who she lost. Okay, so again, we'll go over this graphic then. The mild cognitive impairment phase of Alzheimer's, which is typically the early parts of it, and that can last up to 7 years. And it indicates here that the disease begins in the medial temporal lobe. with symptoms of short-term memory loss. Hello, Akashi Chris at Mindfork. Thanks for being here. That progresses then to a mild Alzheimer's state, which can have a duration of 2 years, and the disease spreads to the lateral, temporal, and parietal lobes. This is just interesting to see how this moves around in the brain, and then those different parts of the brain obviously have an impact on different functions and cognitive abilities. So when it's in the mild Alzheimer's stage, the symptoms include reading problems, poor object recognition, and a poor direction sense. Then it progresses to a moderate Alzheimer's stage with a duration of 2 years, and the disease spreads to the frontal lobe. Those symptoms experienced at that point. So I would imagine that all of these things happen. So with each phase, more symptoms are just laid on top of whatever was happening before. But it could just be that they sort of are separated by what part of the brain is impacted. But during the moderate Alzheimer's phase, the symptoms include poor judgment, impulsivity, and short attention. And then when you've reached the final or the severe Alzheimer's stage, that can have a duration of 3 years. The disease spreads to the occipital lobe, which impacts your vision. That was something I didn't know until I saw this graphic. So again, I'll be excited to talk with Michele, who is backstage. I'm going to bring her up. I don't see her on screen. So Michele, if you can hear me, if you, oops, it says not connected now. Let me send her a note that it's telling me, oh, there she is back. I'm going to add her to the screen. So let me take this off. Let's add Michele. And can you hear me, Michele?
I can hear you.
Can y'all hear her? It's super quiet. Oh, let me turn my volume up. Okay, now testing. Tell us something.
Hello.
All right, there's Michele. Do you not have a camera on your device?
I do, and it's saying it doesn't detect it. That is so strange.
Interesting. I think we can do this without seeing you, but I'd love to be able to show you to my viewers. All right, she's going to go out, I think, and come back in again. And we'll find out if she's on the desktop. Thank you, Akashi. I'm not thrilled with it today. I wanted to try to do something different, and that's why I have the bangs. But it's so hot. If I walk outside, even for just 5 minutes, I'm going to be sweating so much that then it's going to just get gross. And it's kind of humid, and that's going to make it get kind of frizzy. So I hope you can enjoy it while it lasts. But thanks for saying something. Device is not connected. Okay, we're having some technical problems, but bear with us. We're going to get, yeah. Well, David, here's David's comment. I'm still waiting for the day when the thing is that women are just bald. They shave their heads and they just get pretty tattoos. I would just be all over that. Hang on, I have a private chat note from Michele. Okay, I'm going to add her to the screen again. I still don't see you, but can you hear us?
I can. For some reason, it's not connecting to my camera. That I've never had that problem before.
Are you on a phone or a computer?
I am on my laptop.
Okay. So
I could get on the phone if you want me to.
Whatever. I mean, I'd love for people to be able to see you. I'm just wondering, when you go into the screen where you have to type in the name you want to appear. Did it let you choose like what camera, or was there an option for?
It says start cam, and when I start cam, it mutes me.
Oh, interesting. So David Hunt is asking what browser you're using.
Let's see here. Google Chrome.
Okay, that's what I use, and that's supposed to be best for StreamYard. So David, she's using Google Chrome. David was just sharing with us that bangs don't work very well on him. And if you can see his picture, can you see his picture there where I put his comment up?
Oh, I see it. Yes.
Yeah. So
funny. That's funny.
Anyway, so we'll keep talking, or I'll keep talking. And if you want to or if you want to try and dial in from your phone, get your phone propped up somehow where we can see you. I just love for people to be able to see you.
Let me try that. So do you want me to disconnect and then, okay, let me
just
try
back
that.
out, and I'll just keep talking.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Okay, bye-bye.
And y'all, I'm trying to figure out what MJ. So MJ and her brother Grounder are here today. I'm sure you guys, if you've watched any videos, she's been here lots of times. This is only Grounder's second time, because when Mom goes out of town on business, he does fine at home alone. He's a good boy. He's not real high energy, and he doesn't get into trouble. But MJ, that can't be said about MJ. So she has to have supervision. So when Mom is out of town on business, then the family comes home in the evening after work and stuff. And then he's fine to just be home during the day by himself. But they're all going out of town on their summer vacation. And so I heard this crunching noise just a little while ago before the show started. I know y'all can't see that. And MJ was chewing on this. It looks like and feels like it's part of a little figurine or something. It's a hard, like molded plastic. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I have you here, but I don't see you.
Oh my goodness.
Weird. Okay, this is just weird. Are you okay to just proceed if we can't see your face?
Sure. I'm so sorry that.
No worries. And you're welcome still to, while we have you on the phone, or if you would rather go back to your laptop, if that's more comfortable, you can do that. I'm going to see, David made some other suggestions, I think. Let me just look for it. So David said to click on the gear icon and then click on the camera. I gotta look at that myself now and see what that means. All right, so I'm going in as if I'm like entering the studio as well. I'm gonna look for the gear. Okay, there's the gear icon settings. Yeah. So there's general, camera, audio, virtual background. But I heard some. Oh, look. Okay, I'm going to take this one off. Guess what, y'all? You can see Michelle. Here she comes. There you are.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Oh, yeah, you were wide way. But this works. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So tell us where you are geographically.
I am in Granbury, Texas. In my humble little abode here.
You guys are on the lake?
Yeah, it was once our weekend lake house, and now it's our full-time home.
Okay. So y'all, Granbury is about an hour and 20 minutes from where I am. She's south of me.
Okay.
But we've been down that way before. Yeah. And as always, guys, as we get started here and we're learning about, let's do that, just like that. As we're learning about Alzheimer's, Michelle is going to share her personal experiences, but you guys are welcome to ask questions. Let me check the poll I put up. So we've got 60% of people who say, yes, they have had a personal experience with Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So just in my little group here. Oh, let me take that off then, David. Thank you.
Pretty common.
All right. Yes. So let's take that off. All right. So do you want to talk a little bit about how we know each other? Do you want me to talk about how we know each other? I'd just love for them to be able to enjoy you.
Well, I will say something. So Kathy and I went to high school together, and my biggest memory of Kathy in high school was choir, and she's a beautiful singer, and she was hilarious. And I remember during one of our choir shows, you and 3 other people, I think Kim Brown was one of them, doing the Limburger. What was
B-52s? The B-52s?
Yeah, B-52s.
Yeah, that was me and Kim and Jeff Cross, Robert Townley,
Kathy.
Oh my gosh, Sauls. Her name was Kathy
Oh,
Sauls at the time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was us. Yeah, that was us. That was my group. That was like
Yeah.
my little core. Oh, Robert Sanderlin was in that
Okay.
little presentation as well.
Y'all were so entertaining.
And so, and I'll interject here that I always have and always will think of you as like a journalist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the time, that's how I saw you. You were like a journalist for the school and in the know about who was who and what was happening and when. And so I've just had some fun now thinking back to, the connections and how far back it goes. And that's been a long time ago, y'all. So I've known Michele a long time. You want to put a little plug in for the Jesus Coffee and Silly Slippers Facebook page?
Oh, yeah. I started this Facebook page, oh gosh, probably a couple of years ago at least. And it's for women. Sorry, guys. But it's Jesus Coffee and Silly Slippers. And it's just a place where we women can go to support each other. It's politics free, news headlines free, no drama, and it's just a place to go to uplift each other and prayer requests and Bible scripture and just whatever to lift each other up because
it's very positive, y'all. So again, sorry to the guys. Hey, NJ Fishing Maniac, thanks for being here today. I put the link. That's what that link is that I just put up. I didn't know it wouldn't show the name. I just copied the link from the address bar when I went to the page. But all right, poll still holding at 60% of people who have had personal experiences with Alzheimer's. And so anyway, so that's kind of our backstory. We just knew each other as kids, went to high school together, and we've stayed connected through Facebook. And, we see each other at reunions, and you're just a light in the world for me. You just continue to be a light in the world for me. I'm excited about, you've got a daughter about to graduate as a physician's assistant.
Yes.
And your son is a photographer?
Well, that's kind of more his hobby.
Okay.
Lives in Europe now and currently unemployed, but he's very, very talented photographer, videographer. He just did a wedding in Austria last weekend. So, but yeah, currently unemployed.
Uh-oh. It happens to all of us, right?
It does.
My mod father, Jesse, found the link and has posted the link for you guys for the Jesus Coffee and Silly Slippers Facebook page. So again, ladies, check it out. But obviously feel free to let your husbands know all the wonderful things that are there when you're visiting. Let me take down this banner here. And I'm going to put up a graphic, but I would love for you to, well, first I want to ask, before your mom was diagnosed, was there any other Alzheimer's experience with another family member?
None.
No. So did you know much about it before?
I heard about it, and I remember the first time I learned about it, I thought, oh, how terrible. I mean, how awful would that be? And that was years before she was diagnosed. And little did I know that I would be going down that path with her in the future. So
how old was she when she was diagnosed?
She was, I want to say, around 74, somewhere around there. I did not figure that out exactly before this broadcast, but it started out with she had pneumonia one year, and she thinks that the pneumonia started this, but I don't think that was the case. But she started having problems with her vision, and she played the piano, and she would have a hard time going from the end of one line to the beginning of the next line, connecting that. And she put her shoes on the wrong feet a couple of times. and she was doing the church, the newsletter for their Sunday school class in church. And she was starting to get things really messed up, and numbers interswitched and letters and misspelling things. And people were coming to her nicely, with the corrections, and she was getting very frustrated. So we thought it was a vision thing. So we went to, got her eyes examined at a specialist in Fort Worth. Her vision was good. And from there, it went to neurology check. And ended up at UT Southwestern in Dallas with a neurological complex there, and they did an MRI. And there's really no real way to really physically diagnose Alzheimer's. It's just really a combination of symptoms. But the one thing they were able to see with her on the MRI is, what do they call it? Her brain was, as you age, your brain slowly shrinks.
Right.
That's just what happens, even to a normal, healthy person. But hers was kind of ahead of schedule, I guess you could say. And there were the things that they saw in the MRI. I forgot the name of it, but like spindles or something that they see in an MRI of an deceased Alzheimer's patient.
Okay.
So they were able to kind of collect from that and all of the symptoms that she was having, and then some tests in the exam room that she had Alzheimer's. And that was about 2015, I believe.
Okay. So tell me about your mom. So before Alzheimer's, before vision problems and mixing up numbers and things, who was your mom? Where'd she come from? What did she love?
She loved music. She has a beautiful singing voice. She was a single mom to me for years. She taught me about Jesus. She worked hard when she was single, and we lived together during my high school, junior high, elementary school years. My dad was there for me too, but they were divorced, and I had a loving relationship with my dad still. But we were like best friends, and kind of like Laverne and Shirley sometimes, living together during all those school years. And I was very respectful of her. I knew she was struggling as a single mom, and I chose not to get into trouble and do things that would make her worry, and out of respect for her. So we just had a really good relationship. Not to say that, hey, people do crazy things. Oh, there she is.
Here's Michelle's mom. Do you remember when this picture was taken?
We were somewhere eating, and there was, or maybe it was a coffee shop, and it was one of those places where they had different coffee cups, and that's the one she picked to drink out of.
Uh-huh. And about how long ago was this picture taken?
That was probably in like 2017, maybe. So,
hello, Julie and Andy. Thanks for being here today. This is my friend Michele Duskin, my old friend Michelle. Did you catch that in the banner, Michelle?
Old.
That I had old in quotation marks for you. Let's show another picture of your mom. And because this is something I'm going to want to talk to you about, is this fundraiser that I know you've participated in now every year. And hopefully you can point us in the direction of how to contribute or get involved in that and other fundraising efforts. But tell us about this picture.
Well, that was the first walk to end Alzheimer's that I ever went to. And I asked her if she wanted to go. I mean, she knew at that time that she had Alzheimer's, and she would tell people, oh, yeah, I have Alzheimer's. And I don't think she really understood. In fact, at that event, she didn't understand, how does Alzheimer's kill you? And she asked me probably right before that picture was taken, because she saw a lot of families wearing shirts with the picture of their loved one on the back. I'm walking for grandma, I'm walking for grandpa, whatever. And it kind of hit her. And at the time, I could have just kicked myself. Why did I bring her to this event? I mean, this was a bad decision. But she wanted to go, and she ended up in tears because she didn't understand how do you die from Alzheimer's. And that's my daughter there with us, and so we walked together and posed happily, in front of that picture. And she ended up coming to the next one. I was surprised the following year. But so that's the story behind that picture. And it was a tough day.
Yeah, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
have you looked back and put any pieces together where you've thought of things that may have happened before the vision issues, and you've thought, oh my goodness, I wonder if that was part of it?
Nope.
I feel like that.
Nothing.
That's so. How, in your experience then, or based on what you've learned, is that common that it really would just sort of come on real suddenly? And
there's so many different types of dementia and Alzheimer's. With some, I think you were kind of going through the stages of it when I was backstage, but there's some that affect the front part of the brain, and there's some. Hers is called post-cortical atrophy.
okay.
It was the back of her brain, which the back of your brain is where your vision and your depth perception is. And if I were to say there was any clue, and this could have happened to anybody, but I think back to a time where she was driving, and she was trying to pull out onto Cooper Street in Arlington. And you know how busy Cooper Street is.
24/7, y'all.
Yes. And she was waiting to pull out, and there was a lot of traffic, and she was waiting for an opportunity to pull out into the lane. And she said, have you ever not been able to tell how far away a car is? And I was like, oh, and I kind of made a joke about it, like, oh gosh, that makes me feel real comfortable. And we laughed about it, and I said, okay, you're good now. If anything, that was a sign that at the time I had no idea.
Right.
That was possibly a sign. But
and I don't have great depth perception anyway. I don't feel like I do. I mean, over time you do something enough and you can kind of then know next time you're going to do it. Oh,
yeah.
I use this landmark. Oh, I can get this close before I hit the front of the garage or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't even know that I would think too much of that, because I think some people just don't have good depth perception anyway.
Well, and I think a lot of people too think when they, as we age, we start forgetting. I mean, like I said before, our brain slowly starts to shrink as we age, which is, something I learned. And, we all think, oh my God, I've been forgetting things. Am I getting Alzheimer's? And I was told it's a normal part of aging, but it's when, for example, you can't find your car keys. That's normal.
Right.
But don't know what the car keys are for. That's a concern.
Okay.
Or they end up in the refrigerator or something like that, So
tell me, once the diagnosis was made, or even before a diagnosis, but obviously you were aware there was a serious issue going on. How did you decide? What are we going to do? Where is she? Is she going to stay at home? Is she going to live with me? Who's going to help with checking on her and stuff? How, as a family, how did you guys put a plan together?
That was tough. That was probably one of the toughest times of my life, because at the time my daughter was, my kids were still in high school, and a lot going on there. And my stepdad, he always relied on her for everything, for meals and doing, and he was on disability. So, so what ended up happening is they moved to an assisted living facility so they would have their meals. And that worked for a while. And they were in Arlington for about a year, and then they came out to Granbury because they knew that we were going to move here full time and we wanted to be close. But after a while, she would get lost in the facility. My stepdad, who was so used to being catered to his whole life, I don't mean that in a bad way, but he was struggling with taking care of what he kind of determined was like a toddler. He was getting to where he was having to help dress her, and it was too much for him. So made the painful decision to put her in memory care facility right before COVID. And then COVID hit, and I was visiting her through the window, which was heartbreaking. And she didn't understand what was going on. And then her final place was a place that we were on a waiting list for here in Granbury, which was a private care facility where there were 3 patients to 1 caregiver. And that's where she was until the end. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you do is it volunteer work? What is it you do now when you go and visit with seniors?
The hospice company that took care of her in the end, and hospice is just wonderful. They were so good to her, and they took such good care of her, and they took care of me too. They kind of prepared me for what to expect. And they checked on me a few months after she passed and said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know what my purpose is now. I mean, what is my purpose? My mom is gone. It's been so many years of my life helping out with her." And they said, "Well, we do take volunteers." So I went through the training process, and so now I have 3 patients that I see, 2 of which have Alzheimer's, and I see them about once a week, and I text their families and see how they're doing, and just kind of share my experiences and support them. So
I think that is a beautiful way to honor your mom. Anytime I see a post and you've got your little shirt, like that's usually I'll see your that shirt or the hospice center. You've got an employee shirt, and you'll have a picture, and that's the first thing I notice, and I just think, what an amazing legacy! What an amazing legacy she left behind, because you're turning that into something beautiful for other people, and I admire you for that. I appreciate you for that, and I wanted to be sure and have you share with people, because I imagine that's a really common place that family members find themselves once they lose their loved one, is what am I even here for now?
Right.
And I love to see, I know you just But let's talk about this picture first, and then I'll move on to another little thing I wanted to share with everybody.
Okay.
So tell us about this picture. Do you remember when it was taken? Where was it taken?
That was taken in our Arlington home, and that was probably, maybe a couple of years after her diagnosis. And my daughter made that, and for her for Christmas. Enjoy today. And little did my daughter know, bless her heart, she's real creative with her calligraphy and stuff, but, you know, block letters are best for Alzheimer's patients. Who was thinking about that at the time, but so we still have that. And I it was just kind of a daily reminder for all of us to enjoy today. So
hang on, I'm setting up another banner that I thought I had already set up. All right, let me take that down. All right, so I'd like to talk some now also about faith, how your faith factored in, or at what point did that become a part of the process, and how for your mom, how did that factor in?
Well, at some point, she didn't understand faith. She she transitioned into an Alzheimer's, a person with Alzheimer's, that reality and all that kind of goes away. And so it's hard to explain that, but for me, my faith is what got me through this, because, and I won't say just because you have faith means things are going to go smoothly. I just relied on God I knew things were going to be tough, but please help me get through this. Help me, give me the words, So I will say I couldn't have gotten through this without my faith, for sure. And, there was one day where she walked up to me and said, I think I'm dying and I'm scared. And I said, everything's going to be fine, because Jesus loves you and he's got you, and everything is going to be just wonderful. And in her mind, I don't know if she really understood that. It's just hard. So,
I don't know if you can see the screen. Can you see when I put up the comments on the screen? So first of all, thank you, Texas Born and Raised, for the super chat. But her message is, this is such a beautiful interview, Kat. Love to you, Michele.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. I mean, my goal again, I want you to touch people through what you're sharing with us here, because just looking at the statistics, we're going to face this some way or another. It may not be a parent or an immediate family member, but the population just keeps getting older and older and older, and people are living longer and longer. And these things present, the older we get, the more common it is for these kind of things to come up. And so I really thought, I have a nice resource right here, a firsthand, not just, I could get on the screen too and just share all these statistics and websites, but I like more of the personal connection. I like people to feel it and not just know it.
Right.
And I thought, I was just so tickled that you were willing to come on and share with us about this. What can you tell me more about your mom, her personality? Or
she was silly. She was a silly mom. She liked to laugh, and we just, let me tell you a story about her one time. This was, well into the Alzheimer's, and my stepdad and her went to Kroger here in Granbury, and I don't know if anybody's been to the Super Kroger in Granbury, but like they have closed there.
Yeah, we have a Super Kroger here.
Oh.
It's not South Lake. It's technically North Richland Hills, but it's like 2 miles away. So
okay, so they have clothes and shoes and
yeah.
just all that. Well, one day I went over there and she had.
Uh-oh. We lost you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. There you are.
She had on this long sweater, and my stepdad said, Joyce, show Michelle your new sweater. And she went, it's from Kroger.
Oh, how sweet.
And then kind of went.
So she was still there.
I actually have that on video.
Oh, how sweet.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
How sweet. But is that, go ahead.
Well, I was going to tell you, she was also an adventurist. Like, as she got older, I think she wanted to prove to everybody that she could still do stuff. And so when my kids were going through Camp Thurman in Arlington, we went to the open house one time, and she talked me into doing their zip line. I was scared to death. And she's like, come on, let's do it. And I was like, oh, I was terrified. And so we did it. And then this is a cool story. I should have sent you this video. It's actually on YouTube. But when we had a family reunion in Woodland Park, Colorado, a few years ago, there was this, it was kind of like a zip line. It was into a canyon, a deep, deep canyon. And you actually sit on it, and it just drops you like hundreds and hundreds of feet into the canyon. And a couple of our younger relatives had done it, and they were showing us the video. And my mom said, I want to do that. And I said, no. I don't think that's a good idea for us to do that. She said, I really want to do it. And I said, really? And she said, yes. And I said, oh, Mom, I got to pray about this. And so I was telling her goodnight in our little hotel room. And I came back in the room a few minutes later, and she said, well, what'd he say? Because I told her I had to pray. I said, what did who say? And she said, you prayed. I said,
Did she go? Anyway, did she do it?
We ended up doing it, and it was the most exhilarating time of my life. We both screamed. I know people thought we were crazy because she wasn't quite over the weight limit, but they put a sandbag on her side. Uh-huh. And the people that worked there said, how bad does she want to do this? And I said, she's got Alzheimer's, but she's telling me she wants to do it. So we did it, and we had the video to prove it. And it was just one of those times where not many people can say they've done that with their.
No, I'm so impressed. I am so impressed. So tell us about this picture. I'm guessing it's on Lake Granbury.
Yes, we had taken them for a ride, and she was kind of just deep in thought, I think. And I want to say that was probably one of the last boat rides we took her on. We were just kind of tootling around, and wow, this is a great picture.
And this is what I remember. So the last time I saw her in person, Richard and I dropped off some food. I think Ed had just gotten out of the hospital or something.
Yes.
I know we went to Arlington, but I don't remember where in Arlington that might have been. But and so that's still how I picture her, that she just still was perfectly healthy and engaged and connected. And who would know that something was coming that would change all of that?
We actually knew then that she had it. And by the way, yes, that is another one of my memories of you, Kathy. You drove so far and brought us the most wonderful meal. And God, we appreciated it so much. It was so yummy. My stepdad had just had open heart surgery, and she was, that was probably a year after her official diagnosis. And so,
Okay. I didn't remember that you already knew. Again,
yeah,
because she just seemed so, everything seemed so normal during
yeah.
that. I don't remember leaving and thinking, oh, wow, she's really struggling. It just all felt so normal. And
Well, it's kind of, for a while, it's kind of easy to hide. But then comes a point where, you know, you can't hide it anymore,
right.
you know. So physically, they start shuffling, and they just start losing weight. And that was one of our rides. I would take her for rides here in Granbury, and we would just
I
go.
love this picture. I just had to interrupt to say, I love this picture. Look, not a care in the world right there at that moment.
Yeah.
Love that. I want to say hi to Tiffany from Canadian Family Life, who has joined us in the chat, and Nora, the Stock Explorer, has joined us in the chat. Sorry for anyone else I may have missed. My friend Michele Duskin is my guest today. She is sharing her personal experience with losing her mom to Alzheimer's. I don't know if that poll, I don't know how long that poll stays up. I had a poll in the chat. You guys can sound off. We're at 55% now of people responding, people who have indicated that they've had a personal experience with Alzheimer's. So talk to me now about the End Alzheimer's and the walks and the things that you do, but then feel free to share with us if you know of other ways people can donate or get involved. Jesse posted a link in the chat if you guys are interested in donating to Alzheimer's research. And I think some of those funds even go to support caregivers and families. So you can look into that. I'll keep sharing some stats on the screen, but talk to us about the walk, the End Alls walk.
The walk happens every fall, and there's like Weatherford has one, and like in September. Fort Worth and Arlington's is October, November. It's just they're not all on the same day.
Okay.
But it's basically just an awareness campaign about Alzheimer's, a fundraiser, obviously. And so that is one of their biggest fundraisers. And then also the longest day. And the longest day revolves around the summer solstice being the longest day, the day with the most light. And so that is their second major fundraiser of the year. And June is National Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month.
Okay.
So I always do a big thing on, social media. This year I was out of the country, so I couldn't do it quite as well. But, lots of purple earrings.
Yeah, that's why I picked the purple background for my banners and stuff today. Yeah, so talk about being out of the country. That's something else I was hoping you would share with us, just because I don't want the stream to be like heavy or sad for people. I want it to be a resource for information and what life is like on the other side when you go through this and you lose someone to Alzheimer's. And I just think you're a great spokesperson for that. I think what you're doing with your time and your life right now is just a testament to the wonderful person that your mom was, and the things that you're carrying on for her, with her, through her, even now that she's not with us. But I thought maybe you could share a little bit about your recent overseas trip. I was having a great time looking at your pictures. I loved especially when you would do the side-by-sides from when you were a little girl, and then have the same shot. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that right now. I just thought that was so fun. That was so neat. And again, part of what I want to do here is I just want to celebrate now the fact that life goes on, that there is still joy. There's still adventure and excitement and good. And just, again, my connection with you through Facebook is just such a great reminder of all of that. But tell us a little bit about the trip you recently took to Europe.
Well, when I was little, my dad was worked for Army and Air Force Exchange Service, and he was transferred to Munich, Germany. And so we lived there for 3 years. We were there during the 72 Summer Olympics. And even though I was young, I have a lot of memories from being there. And my mom was able to go back with my stepdad like in the early 90s. And then, of course, my dad has been back as well. And I was like the last one that hadn't been back. And it's just been a dream of mine to go back as an adult and travel some more. And so we finally did it. And I know that she would be so happy that I finally got to go back.
So, what was your favorite part of this most recent trip? If you had to single out one thing or one place or experience?
Oh, goodness. I think it was just the freedom of my husband and I just driving. We did rent a car, just driving through the Bavarian countryside, and seeing, the Alps all around. It's so beautiful there. That was my favorite part.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm going to put another little graphic on the screen here. You can keep talking with me. All right. And this, let's make this a little bigger. This is, I don't remember which website this is from, but Family History by the Numbers, because I didn't know the inherited or genetic aspect of it. I didn't know until I started researching for the show today. And I was kind of encouraged to learn that there's really not there's really not much danger, not much more danger that if someone in your family had Alzheimer's that you're, at a greater risk. And so I thought I would share this information. It was too much to put on one of those little banners on the screen. This just says studies of family history say that if you have a close relative who's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, the most common form of dementia in older adults, your risk increases by about 30%. So when I first read that, I thought, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's not what this math means. This is a relative risk increase, meaning a 30% hike in your existing risk. So if you're age 65, the risk of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's is 2% per year. Although this also means that there's a 98 chance per year of not developing Alzheimer's. That is my favorite part of this particular graphic. I need to figure out what webpage I got that from, because I was just so encouraged that it was presented that way. Okay, this is from health.harvard.edu. And I love that they put that in. Also means a 98% chance per year of not developing Alzheimer's. Yeah. In absolute numbers, a 2% annual risk means that 2 out of 165-year-olds will develop dementia every year. Family history raises the 2% annual risk by about 30% to 2.6% per year. So again, I looked at that 30% and thought, oh my goodness, that's just a terrible statistic. So that means going from 20 cases in a group of 1,000 to 26 in 1,000, or 6 additional cases in 1,000. So the absolute increase is relatively small. That was just so encouraging to me, because again, just like you said, you knew about Alzheimer's before it became a real thing happening in your life, and you thought, oh, how terrible. So right, that's been my perception. That's how I've seen it. And so I first again started reading this and thought, oh, 30% chance of. So I just was so excited to read on, and see that it's not like you're not doomed. If someone in the family gets it, it doesn't mean everybody's going to have to follow suit. So age raises the chance of Alzheimer's more than family history. People in their 70s have a 5% chance of being diagnosed, more than twice that of people in their 60s. Family history raises this by 30%, from 5% to 6.5%. So this is when you're in your 70s. If there's a family history, then it's still just 6.5% of the
Mhm.
population that could be at risk. Again, the absolute change is relatively small. I was just encouraged by that. I wanted to share that because I wondered, I would think it would just be normal that at some point in the processing of all that's going on, you would be worrying, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do I need to start getting my brain scanned now? Do I, what do I need to start doing testing now? Is that something you dealt with? And
Oh, absolutely. I've had two neurologists tell me just because your mom had Alzheimer's does not mean you're going to get it.
well,
And
there it is from Harvard too.
yeah, but I also did just for peace of mind. I went to a neurologist and he said, "Well, we can do a base evaluation on you if you like," and because it was during a period of time where I was very stressed out about the situation. You know, again, my kids were in school. I had so much going on. My plate was overflowing, and so I went to a psychotherapist or somebody that does like a complete evaluation, and it was like a day-long procedure where they asked me every question about my life, my background, my habits, my everything, and then I go through a series of probably about 3 or 4 hours of tests, like you know. Brain tests where you're like, when you're done, you feel like you've just been like, gotten the water treatment or whatever from someone. It was just exhausting. And so he calls me a few weeks later and says, "Well, I have the results of your test and we have a baseline now." And I said, "Okay." He said, "You did really good." And I said, "I did?" He said, "Yeah, you did really good. I mean, everything looks great." He said, "I can tell you, I think I know what your problem is." And I said, "Well, what?" And he said, "You got too much going on."
You didn't
And
need
my
to go to a doctor for that.
husband said, "I could have told you that and saved a lot of money."
Uh-huh.
So anyway, but that was something I chose to do. And who knows, if it was even, worth doing, but I did. So, um, but they do say that, if you want to do anything to try to prevent getting dementia, what you can do is exercise regularly, exercise your brain every day and eat a good diet, low in sugar, low in fat, preferably they say the Mediterranean diet, lots of vegetables, limited alcohol, lots of water. So, but even then, you could still get it.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, your mom, from what I remember, she was healthy. She was a healthy eater, and she did
She was
keep her
very,
brain active. And
she was not overweight. She ate good. Um, she didn't drink. I mean, she'd have maybe a glass of wine every once in a while. Uh, so, you don't know.
nope.
So,
Well, anything you want to leave us with? Any thoughts? Any overall message?
yes, I would like to say that if anyone is going through this and with a family member of a friend, please encourage them to get on alz.org, alz.org. There are so many resources. There are support groups everywhere for families, caregivers of someone with Alzheimer's, where you sit down, you share, you laugh, you cry, you come home with information about how to take better care of your loved one, how to deal with it better. I went to one. It was great, and that reach out for help. There's also a 24/7 helpline. So, you want me to share that number with you?
Yeah, I'm going to put up the link for the website. So there's this, it's just the about page. I just put up the website for the alz.org about, and that's where I got all of these banners, these statistics that I've been putting up on the purple banners. That's where I got it from alz.org. There's a great just, FAQ. There's just a great resource of information there on just statistically speaking. And there's a whole lot more. I mean, there's so much there. I only have maybe a tenth of the little pieces of information that the website shares. But what is that number?
The number is 800-272.
800.
3900.
What were they? Go again. 800.
272 3900.
Right. There is the phone number now in the chat. And I put that it's Alzheimer's Association. That may not really be what it's called, but there's just a great resource right there. If you want information, if you need help, if you want to donate, if you want to get involved. How do people sign up to do the walks?
Just get on the alz.org website, and then it'll ask you to look for your state and your zip code, and then it'll point you to, fundraisers in your area.
Okay. And when are you going to do the next walk?
Well, that's a good question. Last year I didn't do it because I had foot problems. This year I may or may not be in town because we may be traveling. So,
okay.
But typically I've done the Arlington one. I've done the Arlington one the most, and I think it's October, November. But the one in Weatherford, which is closest to me, is usually in September. So that's probably the one I'll shoot for. But
when you do it next time, let me know, because I'll gladly post a link. So if people want to sponsor you in the walk and donate toward your walk, if they're not able to do it, because not everyone can do it. But there are lots of other ways to support the cause. And I would just be more than happy to, shout it out that you're going to be doing a walk so that maybe we can drum up some more backers.
Thank you so much.
To help you raise some more funds. This was such an honor for me. I want to say it was a treat, and it was a treat, but it's a weird treat because of why I brought you on the show and what you talked with about us, because there's sadness there. I can't pretend like there's not sadness there. Maybe I wouldn't feel as sad if I didn't know you, if I'd never met your mom or spent any time around y'all. But it is sad because I am connected, even if it's just indirectly. But I just, again, wanted people to know there are resources for help. There are things to look for and be aware of so that you can get a treatment plan put together and start doing what needs to be done so that everybody is comfortable and informed, and that there's life after it. There's life after it, and there's great opportunities still for great things in life. I just think you're such a great example of that. You really inspire me.
Well, thank you. Can I share one last thing?
Yes.
So my mom would always say we need to find a cure for Alzheimer's. And when my daughter decided to go into the medical field, she said maybe Abby will help find a cure for Alzheimer's. And then about 3 months before she passed, I found out that it's a program in Florida where you can donate the brain of a loved one with Alzheimer's. And I thought, as horrible as it sounds, as intense as it sounds, we all talked about it and prayed about it and decided she would want that. And that was her gift.
That's amazing.
The fight against Alzheimer's is we had her brain donated to.
That's amazing. Again, you're an inspiration to me. I know that wasn't an easy thing to do, but you're right. She would have wanted that. You're right. She would have wanted that. She would be proud to know that she still was helping people. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. You're such
So
a bright spot. I'm so honored that you were on the show. Do any of you in the chat have questions for Michele? Anything? Maybe you've been through your own Alzheimer's journey. Maybe you're dealing with that right now. I know she's the kind that if she doesn't know the answer to something, she'll tell you she doesn't know. But I also know she's the kind that then she would go look it up and she would get back with me and say, hey, I looked up that thing that the person asked me about and here's what I found out. So let me know if you have questions. Do you have any questions? I don't know why you would have questions of me, but
to
do you have any
me?
questions? Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay. Typically, second half of the show, it goes back and forth. Sometimes I do channel related stuff early in the episode. Sometimes I do it at the end. I was really anxious to just get you on and get the first part of the show started so that we could share, you could share this information with us and share yourself with us. But the second half of the show now, I'm going to go and do my channel information. And so there still may be questions. If someone asks a question after you're, not still sharing with us, I'll pass that along to you. And you're welcome to stay. If you want to hang out and watch what happens here, you can do that. If you want to go, if you want to stay on screen, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
It's okay with me.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, again, thank you for agreeing to do it. And it was kind of last minute. I typically have, 4 or 5 emails out all the time, people that I've invited to be on the show. And then it's just a matter of who's going to get back with me first. So I don't remember what I might have seen. I don't remember what you may have posted on Facebook. I may have seen a picture again of you with your hospice shirt on and thought, you know what? Oh my goodness, I want to see if she'll come on and share about Alzheimer's with us. It's just a real issue. And I mean, the numbers make it look like it's not that common, but when you're the one that's dealing with it, then it's the whole world. So I know that even if it's not a big number of people that might watch this episode, somebody will benefit from it. So you have been a blessing today. Ladies in the chat again, check out the Jesus Coffee and Silly Slippers Facebook page. This is from Dr. Lund. Thank you so much, Michele, for sharing your life experiences. You're amazing.
Thank you.
So again, I'm honored that that you're here with us today. Yeah, Joe, you can go back and rewatch from the beginning. Lots of great information here. All right. So do you want to stay on screen? Do you want to go to the chat? Do you need to leave? What do you want to do?
Actually, while we were talking, I got a call from my dog's vet about a surgery she has to have. So I probably better call her back.
Yes, take care of that. And I'm going to move on again to some other things. Take care, Be safe, be well, be happy, be blessed. Love to your family. Congrats to Abby on getting through school. I can't believe already that we're at this point where she's graduating. I just can't believe that. But I'm so proud of what she's doing with her life. Tell Lane I said hi. You guys be safe, and I'll see you on Facebook.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so let's do some channel stats, guys. Let's get back to my screen share. All right. Let's see if that needs to be bigger. Oh, it is at 150. All right, so our friends Nina and Boyce, Texas neighbors of ours, are at 883 subscribers today. Ordered Steps is holding on to about 1,320. My friend Akashi Chris, she was in the chat earlier today, but I don't think she's able to stay for the whole stream. She is at 462 subscribers today. My friend Byron, another Texas neighbor of ours at 12 Stones Ranch, is at 1,700 something today. So that could be as much as 1,709. My friend Joe Hupp in the chat today from Australia is at 314 subscribers today. Our friends Jesse and Lisa at Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa are at 1,470 something subscribers today. My friends Jerry and Susan at Butler Family Farm are at 1,670 something subscribers. Belt Loop 29, Gary is holding on to his 2,410 through 19 something subscribers today. My friend David Hunt, who is in the chat today, is at 576 subscribers today. Mark at Corner Clubhouse Cobalt is at 1,220 something. Brian and Shirley at Just Doing Our Best are at 1,550 something subscribers today. Drunken Chef Barbecue is at 1,290 something subscribers today. And then my friend Lee at First Floor Audio in the UK is holding on to his 1,200 from 10 to 19. Adam Sky, also in the UK, is up to 311. My friends Jeff and Lorena, Texas neighbors of ours at Back to Country Homestead, are at 770 again this week. My friend Amanda at Bare Bones Living is at 719. Bearded Eagle is at 1,130 something today. Ashley at CNC Farm is at 1,900 something today. Tiffany at Canadian Family Life, who is in the chat, or at least she was in the chat, is at 1,360 something subscribers today. Come Hither with Heather. My friend Heather in Australia is at 1,010 to 19, something before 1,020 subscribers today. Danielle at Danny Days Ahead is at 1,090 something. Dawn Ray B is at 520. Brittany and Big K at Flannel Hill Farm are at 254. Jen and Steve at Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve are holding on to their 1,000 subscribers. My friend John at Home Bartending with John is at 399. I think I told you guys last week I sent him an email because I haven't seen any new content at his channel for a couple of months. He's just taking a break. I advise that. I always think that's a good idea. And so hoping to see some new content from him soon, but he's okay. All is well. He's just taking a little YouTube vacation. My friend Peter Tragos at Lawyer You Know is at 252,000 subscribers. My friend Katie at Mayfield Ranch is holding on to her 1,140 something. My friend Paul at Millionaire Paul, the Millionaire Challenge, is at 267. Tammy at Mountain Grandma is at 854. Tiffany at Mud and Mascara Homestead is at 504. My friend Nick and his family, Texas neighbors of ours at Multi-Hunter 24/7, they're holding on to their 1,030 something subscribers. My friend Ginger at Not For Nothing Homestead holding on to 1,010 something. Our friends Devin and Ryan at Our New Land, some more Texas neighbors of ours, check that out. They are up to 3,670 something subscribers today. My friend Nancy at Our Treasured Home is at 1,080. My friend Marin at Palma Pioneer Pantry is at 299. My friend Stephen at Pawpaw's Kitchen, Texas neighbor of ours, is at 328. My friend Shane at Paralife TV, your everyday wheelchair ninja, is at 1,930 something. My friend John at Pedroza Travel is holding on to 1,080 something subscribers. My friend Vicky Lund, who's in the chat today at Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund, is at 1,020. I'm just thinking, Vicky, of all those times I kept calling you Psychology. With Dr. Noir? Was that what I used to say? Psychology Noir with Dr. Noir? Psychology Noir with Dr. Lund, holding on to 1,020 something subscribers today. Wes and Jess at Rich New Design is at 487. Ronnie and Brittany at Ronnie and Brittany RB Story are at 705. Those are some California friends of ours. My friend David at Safe and Sound Texas Audio Excursion is at 2,600 something. It could be 2,609. My friend Shannon at Shanster Travels is at 647. My friend Sparrow Spalding is holding on to her 1,390 something subscribers. Kenny and Debbie at The Adventures of Kenny and Debbie are at 709. Angela at The Inquisitive Farm Wife is at 1,800 something. My friend Dino at The Late Late Horror Show is at 111,000. My friend Tom Salta is at 965. So I just listened this morning. He put up a 3-hour meditation stream from a clip of some water going over rocks when he was in Hawaii, I think last year. So just a very calming, that's a new thing. I don't think I've seen anything like that on his channel before. That was very nice. I had that running while I was looking up my stats, and the dogs were all sleeping, and it was just very peaceful. So he's continuing to gain some subscribers. My friends John and Sarah at Two Doves, Bees and Gardens are holding on to their 1,640 something subscribers. The Vineyard Chicks are at 4,560 something subscribers. My friend Ralph at Webb's Web is holding on to his 1,030 something subscribers. My friend Robin at What the Flock is at 561 today. Steve Robson at Wild Macro Art is still at 24. And the late Fat Ninja DM is at 433 subscribers today. So there's the quick update on the channels. Let's see, Joe's got a comment here for us. I've uploaded some new content, a 30-second clip of a new building technology using a massive 3D printer and a special concrete blend called Contourcrete. Building technology, like a building where there would be offices and people would go in and do business and stuff, Joe. There's 3D technology for that. That's amazing. So when I, was last in the dental field and I was working in the surgical practice, we had a 3D printer because for certain surgeries, there was a stent that the doctor would use for placing implants. We didn't do robotic implant placement, but everything would be mapped out through the computer, and all the math and the angles and positioning and all of that is done. And so he would use the cone beam, the 3D, jaw scan to do all that math, and then that gets plugged into the 3D printer, and it would produce a tray that would go into the mouth in that spot where the implants were going, and there was no way to screw it up. The implant would only go in at one angle in one spot between whichever, teeth were still there. But it just was like Star Trek to me. It was just like Star Trek. I felt like there were days that I could have just stood watching that machine making that thing. It's not a fast process. At least the one we had wasn't fast. But I just would never, 40 years ago, would never have thought that 3D printers would be used in dentistry. But I'm sure there's lots of other things beyond that they're doing already. So here's, I think, a response from Joe. This one is actually a community amenities block in a park in my hometown. The company who is doing this is also going to construct a 200-unit Echo Caravan park in town as well. My mind is blown. So yes, you got to go to Joe's channel to check out that clip, that 30-second clip of this massive 3D printer technology. That's amazing. So Jesse's got the link. 3D printed house out of concrete. Wow. That's amazing. All right. So, now let's leave this. Okay. All right. So before I close, anybody have questions? Anyone want to come up on screen, share what's going on at your channel, in your home, in your city, in your family? Thank you all again for being here with me and Michele. I knew it would be a great interview because I know Michele. Again, she's very well spoken. She's very real. She's very easy to connect with. I just wasn't sure how that would translate when we were talking about something that was, painful and sad. But again, I've always seen her as like a journalist. She was involved in that stuff in high school. And so I think she has the ability to kind of separate the emotional side from just the intellectual side. And she just did an amazing job. I'm so glad she agreed to be on the show. So if you missed that first part, if you missed her interview, and you're part of the rewatch crew, thanks for checking it out. All right, so there's some discussion about the 3D printers. I potentially have a content creator lined up for next week. It'll be a different concept though, because it's a faceless channel. So this person never appears in their videos. It's like an educational channel. I know you guys know I'm kind of a history buff. I haven't done the On This Day in a while, so I'm hoping to get back to that soon. But this channel is right up my alley in that regard, because it's, events in history, people in history, long format, but not long videos. So they're great watches. They're put together really nicely. The thumbnails look great. And so I'm hoping to get confirmation back. I guess I could check my email while I've got you guys. He did say he's interested in doing it. Just had questions about whether it would, work, since he's aware that I usually have a person on the screen. But I think we can still make it work. So I'll be coming up with ways that it'll still be fun for everybody. I mean, I think we'll still hear him, but we just have to figure out what it's going to look like while it happens. And as I said before, if there's a channel you'd like me to reach out to see if they'd like to be a guest on the show, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know. I've had several people. Who was it? I think Ashley at CNC Farm put a bug in my ear about Tiffany at Canadian Family Life. So that's how she got on the show. And I think Ginger at Not For Nothing Homestead put a bug in my ear about Robin at What the Flock. And I think that's how she got on the show. So you guys have more connections even than I have. You know about other channels that I don't know about. So I would just be happy to partner with you if there's a channel that you'd like to maybe see interviewed on the show. So I think that's all. I think it was a good episode. The baby birds, I'll have an update on the baby birds. They're both doing well. In fact, I have, maybe I can show you all that right quick. Let me see if I can figure out how to pull that up. See if it's this one. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Let me find the video. I just took a video a couple of days ago. Yeah, here we go. Let me just show you this. So act surprised when you see it go up on the channel or. Okay, hang on. I'm going to pause it here. Let me share my screen, and we'll just end with this little video of the baby birds, because I'm still thoroughly enjoying watching these baby birds grow on my front porch. So let me share that. All right, and here they come. Look at their feathers coming in. Hi, little ones. Hi, little ones. These are baby Buick's wrens. Hi. Can I get one of you? So they're about 10 times bigger than they were when they hatched. Like exponentially.
Hi, I just want everyone to see how tiny you are. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Back in the nest.
So that's what's happening with the baby birds. And generally when the babies are in a nest on the front porch that I can reach, I do handle them. And it's so fun to see that over time they get real comfortable with that. You mean like they're not afraid of me? I'm sure then they go on and they just turn wild when they don't have to be around people. But they're coming along nicely. It's so hot. Mama is not staying in the nest with them. She brings food throughout the day and throughout the night. But they are getting feathers now, so they're able to keep themselves warm. And it's so stinking hot anyway that's not a concern. So I'm not seeing Mama quite as much because I'm not running the cameras. I might do another stream overnight just so we can watch them wiggling around, because I enjoy that. And I think that's all. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. Shorts still going up every day. Thanks again to Texas Born and Raised for that super chat today. That was amazing. And I will see you guys next week. Again, may or may not have a content creator on the show, but I think it'll work. So we'll see how it goes. As always, be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed. I love you all. Thank you for being here today. Check out each other's channels. Check out the channels from my little spreadsheet there. And I'll keep you posted if Michelle's going to be doing any walking, if some of you might like to donate to that, because it is a fundraising event. It's like the old Race for the Cure. Is that still happening? You know, that's been a thing for a long time. The breast cancer awareness, that Race for the Cure. And you could get your friends to like support you by backing you X number of cents per mile or dollars per mile or whatever. But I'll let you go. I'll leave the chat open for a little bit so you can say your goodbyes to each other. And I'll see you in the next video. Love you guys.